I think I was even more overwhelmed when I first saw my human design chart than when I saw my astrology birth chart. And so I'm going to show you today how to really look at your human design chart and understand what exactly you're looking at. And I'm also going to share with you my perspective on what I feel is the most important things to know about your human design chart. So let's dive in. Okay, so I have pulled up my Human Design Bodygraph and chart from myhumandesign.com. If you are unsure of how to get your chart, you can check out my video on how to download your charts. And so I definitely recommend My Human Design, especially if you're getting into this for the first time and you haven't looked at your charts before, just because it's more easily digestible. The way that Jenna Zoe breaks down some and pulls out some of the important aspects of your chart and puts them on the side here. So we're not going to dive deep into what any of this means. I'm just kind of breaking down what you're seeing so you can understand what exactly it is that you're looking at. So on the side here, after your birth information, you have what I think are the first three things that you need to start off with if you're new to human design, and that is your type, your strategy, and your authority. So your type is your energy type, your aura, and it is how your energy works within you and how other people perceive your energy. So that is very important information to know. And each energy type also has a strategy of how best to use your energy. Then you go down here and you have authority, which is the way that you make the most aligned decisions for yourself. And most important thing to know here is that we never make decisions from our mind. Human design is all about trusting our body and using our body to make decisions. So then here we have definition. And that just describes how these shapes are connected. So I have single definition, which means that anything that's colored in here, it's all connected to each other in one connection. If I had split definition or triple definition, that would mean that so for example, split definition, let's say I have these 4 that are colored in here, but then I have these 2 colored in here and nothing else, then that's connected and that's connected. It's split. They're not connected to each other. And so that's what makes it split. And so on and so forth with a triple definition as well. Then here you have your profile, which is how you are playing out your energy into the world. And we get that. So see, mine is a 2-5. There's 12 different profiles. And you get that from this number up here, the number after the decimal, the 2, and the number over here after the decimal, the 5. This is your sun. Your profile is derived from your sun. And so you start with the personality side, the 2, 5. Then you have your incarnation cross, which is your life's purpose. And that is created from your sun and earth, 38, 39 on your personality side, and your sun and earth on your design side, my 48 and 21. Your numbers are probably going to be different. Then she also puts here the not self theme, which is how you can tell when you are not living by your strategy and your authority or your design. And so as a projector, mine is bitterness, and I could tell you that is spot on. Then she puts some other things down here, which I'm not going to go into more into this video just because this is like Human Design 2.0. And you definitely, especially if you're beginning, you want to start off here, but we'll cover this in a different video as well. If you want more information about your type, your strategy and authority, and some practices and tips to help support you on your journey, you can download my Aligned Leaders Guide, which is linked in the description below. I go into detail on these things and also give you practices to help you implement these slowly into your life so you can see what a difference it truly makes. So the most important thing that I find on our human design charts is these 2 columns of numbers right here. You can see that there's numbers and then symbols next to each number. The symbols are mirrored on both sides, whether it's on the right side or the left side. Those are your planetary symbols, and they are all here. Again, you can download my Aligned Leaders Guide below to see what these symbols are and what they mean. And so these symbols here show us 64 gates that the planets transit through. And so these right here tell us what gate on the right-hand side the planets were in at the very moment that you were born. And this side over here tells us what gate the planets were in 3 months or 88 days before you were born. This is where your consciousness entered your body in the womb. And so we call this actually your subconscious or your design side, because these are qualities that you might not be aware of. And your personality side are things that you are aware of because they're at the moment of your birth and they are conscious to you. And so we wouldn't have a human design body graph if we didn't have astrology, because these gates, if you look here, my sun, number 38 is down here, and that my sun being here is what makes that colored in. This is what makes gate 38 defined. And each one of these gates carries an energy to it. So gate 38, for example, is the gate of the fighter. And this means that my sun being here is part of my purpose and my personality to, on the higher end of the spectrum, to fight for things that I believe in and fight for a purpose. And so having my sun there, it means that that's part of my life's purpose. But let's say I had Saturn in that gate. Saturn flavors that energy just a little bit differently. So I still have that energy defined if Saturn was there, but that means that instead of it being my life's purpose and my path and my personality, that means that that's a lesson that I have to learn in this lifetime, is how to fight for things that I believe in and not just pick fights with random people just because I like to fight out of fear. So these planets change the energy depending on what gate that they are in. But each one of these numbers has a different energy. And then, like I said, the planets change that energy and how they play out in our lives. And so having a gate defined means, or colored in, means that there is a planet on your chart in that gate. The next step that we're going to talk about, and actually the final step in this video, just so that you can understand, is that there are 9 centers here. This is derived from the chakra system, which has 7 centers. But Human Design believes that as we have evolved as humans, we've also evolved into 9-centered beings. So we've actually added the G center and the splenic center down here. And so if your center, this is the head center, the ajna, which is like the third eye, your throat center, your G or your identity, this is your heart center over here, like where your heart would be on your body. This is the emotional solar plexus. This is your sacral center. This is your splenic center. And this is your root center. If you want to look a little bit more in detail on briefly what these mean and what areas of life these rule for you, you again can download my guide below in the description. Or I have a workshop series called The Astrology of Your Centers that you can dive into what all of these mean and what your planetary placements within each one of these means, and strategies to help support you through working through the higher and lower frequencies of these energies. So that's a really great place to start once you are diving into your body graph a little bit more. So if they are colored in, no matter what color they are, that means that they are defined. If they are not colored in or white, that means that they are undefined. If there are no gates colored in whatsoever, like my throat center, that means it's open. And so when we're defined, that means we have a consistent energy that we are carrying in this gate, and we know how to process this energy. We know how to use this energy. And whether it's the higher frequency or the lower frequency, you can have both. Just because it's defined doesn't mean you're always projecting the best energy from that center, but that means that you just have a consistent way of using that energy. And if it's undefined, that means that you're taking in this energy from others. You are let's say, for example, your head center rules ideas and inspiration. Mine's open. So I'm taking in ideas and inspiration from others all the time. If I'm in another room with somebody, I'm taking in that energy. I don't necessarily produce ideas and have inspiration of my own. I'm taking it from outside of myself, and I'm gaining wisdom from that. It's not a bad thing. I take people's ideas and I amplify them. I make them my own. And, I put my own little spin on them and amplify them. If you're completely open in a center, that means that you are really, really taking in a lot of energy from outside of yourself. So I really do not have a consistent way of using my throat energy. I don't produce anything from my throat. I'm really taking in all of the energies from around myself. And so I am most likely to be very, very conditioned in this area from other people and how they use that energy. So that's just a brief synopsis of how your centers work and how your centers even get defined in the first place. So for your centers to be defined, they have to have a gate connecting to another gate. So you can see here, this 26 to 44, I have planets in those gates. And because I have planets in those gates, whether they're on the right-hand side of the personality or the left-hand side of the design, that means that they are connected. And so that makes those centers defined. Here you can see I have gate 43, but I do not have gate 23. So that means that this will not be defined. It's undefined because I have nothing connecting it to any other center. And so that's what makes a center colored in or defined on your chart, is it has to be connected to another center. And these connections here between the gates are called channels. And so the channels carry different energies too. So when you combine the energies of gate 26 and gate 44, you're creating a new energy of a channel. So that is your basic overview of what your Human Design Bodygraph chart is created of, and I hope that you found this helpful. Again, you can download my free guide below so that you can see how your type, strategy, and authority are playing out in your life and how you can take actionable steps to make it work for you. Stay magical, my friends.